lovers, the moon is a thing of beauty. But to this man it is a deadly curse. When the moon is full, this miserable wretch turns into a hairy, snarling half-man, half-beast. Prowls the night, his fangs thirsty for human blood. He is a werewolf.
Hello and welcome to the Werewolf by Night podcast, the show where we talk about Marvel's #1 lycanthrope, Jack Russell, a.k.a. the Werewolf, a.k.a. the Beast, a.k.a. the Shaggy One. I'm your co-host, Matt Howell.
I'm your other co-host, Jacob Balcom.
Thank you for joining us this week, listeners. Jacob, we have a little bit of errata to address, and I think maybe 3 episodes ago, you and I were talking about Perlin. And I said, he's dead, right? And you said yes. So we both assumed he was dead. But then you told me like a week later that he's still alive. He's just not in good health.
Yeah, he just had his 91st or 92nd birthday. I can't remember. But yeah, that was not too long ago. So yes. He is still alive. Not in great health, but still alive.
Yeah, I'm happy he's still with us if he's enjoying life.
Yes.
Provided he's enjoying life. So there's that. And it's really nice when you can fix other people's mistakes. So we had Amy Carroll on last week, and she referred to some comic strips, and she said Prince Albert. I think it's pretty clear she was referring to Prince Valiant, Hal Foster.
Yes.
I kind of caught it at the time, but I was like listening to her so intently that it was too late to go back and be an asshole and correct her. So, but then in editing, I was like, no, I'm an asshole. I'm going to say something.
Okay, nice. Way to go.
Yeah. So the bigger man is not here today.
No.
So let's talk a little bit about, we alluded to the fact that we're going to be doing a final episode, a wrap up when this is all done, and kind of talk about some of our highlights and our favorite moments from this whole series here. So I thought it'd be fun I wrote this up today, just a first pass, and I shared it with Jacob, and he hasn't really looked at it much yet. So we thought, let's look at it together cold. He can give me some feedback, and maybe you guys, if you want to chime in and say, what about this? Maybe you guys could do that, whatever. Let us know through social media or our Gmail account, which is werewolfbynightpodcast@gmail. And you can, if you want to, you could tell us what your things are, your votes are for things, and we could share those in the end. I think that'd be a lot of fun. So
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, good. Thank you. So my first pass here is just kind of again, this is all very molten and fluid. Top 3 favorites. So this is easy to do, I think, relatively. Like first one would be like storylines, like arcs or whatever. Favorite moments, because in the beginning we kind of were good about doing like, what was your favorite moment from the issue, like the most bananas or the most whatever, and we kind of dropped that off. But supporting cast members, favorites, top 3 favorites, favorite villains, 3 favorite covers, quote unquote team ups, because he is a ravening werewolf. So I mean, he met Dracula, he hung out with Spider-Man,
Yeah, no, it was funny when I saw that you had you put team ups in quotes, and I was just like, yeah, did he team up more than 3 times? He's
Legion of Monsters.
Legion of Monsters. That's true. I guess the Spider-Man thing's a team up. He met Frankenstein's monster and Dracula. So all right, well, there's Tygra. Okay, I stand corrected. There's at least 5.
Okay.
To choose your top 3 from. Yes. Yeah, I'm in.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
There's going to be another one, by the way, when this run is done.
Oh, boy.
This one's probably for just Jacob and myself, but the top 3 werewolf movies we watched during and talked about on the show.
I'm excited about that one. I'm going to have to go back and really
dwell.
See what the one is. Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I know what mine are, but so tonight we're going to be talking about the last of our Paul Naschy films. There are 2 more, I believe, but we're at the end of the line with The Beast and the Magic Sword from 1983. And then next week, we're going to watch Werewolves Within, which is a modern film that came out this summer. So a horror comedy that looks like a lot of fun. So if you guys want to watch along, that one's easily found on Prime or Google Play or wherever you rent your movies from online. So yeah, and that will be the end, I think. Well, no, we might sneak in another werewolf movie.
Yeah. I mean, we could. We have 1 more episode after that. So that's not our recap episode. So yeah, we'll have to keep that in mind.
We could watch the second Paul Naschy movie again and see if it gets better.
Yeah, no, and I feel like I feel a little bad because I feel like I kind of, pulled the ripcord on our Naschy watching. I was just like, nope, I can only do two more.
No, I think I think that's fair.
Okay, all right. I know you're a completist. I hope it doesn't keep you up at night too much.
No, I don't have to be completist on the air.
Okay, good.
So we're good. Okay, so yeah, folks, if you want to either suggest topics that we missed for that top three, or we'll post these online in a week or so, but you can also just vote and fill it out like a ballot and let us know what your votes are, and we'll go through those on the end when we are reviewing our own choices for there. So something to think about. Can I put Topaz 3 times? No, you can't do that.
No, well, that's what I was laughing about. Like, what's your top 3 supporting cast? I was just like, oh, that's there's no mystery about the top slot on that one.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. I'm deep though. I'm complicated.
Yeah, you are.
Okay. So let's dig into this issue though. So this is Werewolf by Night number 41 with a pull date of November 1976. Some great Halloween ads in here, by the way, for and back to school stuff for Marvel things.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, like notebook paper, pinchless TM, slide ring notebook, organizer, spiral notebooks, pocket portfolios, all with all your favorite heroes on them.
Wow.
Made me very jealous. And some Marvel Halloween costumes I'm going to share some pictures of on our feed that are pretty sweet. Back in the days when, I'm sure younger listeners won't remember this, but there was a time when a Halloween costume was just a probably cancer-causing carcinogenic bib that had something on it that would say like Dracula, and then just a shitty plastic mask with an elastic band.
Yeah, some weird kind of bib smock.
Yeah, smock. That's probably a better.
So, but no, you're right. I mean, you're correct to call it a bib. So strange. But yeah, that was just the Halloween costume that you went and bought at Jafco or wherever from the early 80s.
Sprouse Rights. This was in the fall, so it made me kind of happy because this is fall right now, and probably when this came out, right? If it has a pull date of November, it came out in September.
That's right.
Bi-monthly. So this cover here is by, apparently, originally it was credited to Perlin with pencils and inks, but then it's been corrected to be Pablo Marcos, the great master Pablo Marcos.
Yeah, crazy, right? I was very happy that we get to talk about him, even just the slightest bit. I had to go and just kind of, obviously both of us love Pablo Marcos, especially for his Tales of the Zombie work, which he did all of that, right? Like, did he? I think he did all the main stories of that.
All the main stories, yes.
Yeah,
not been a guest. Yeah.
Yeah, not everything in the magazine, but yeah, all the main Tales of the Zombie stories were done by him. Yeah, I can talk a little bit about him. He was born in Peru in 1937. He started out drawing comic strips for Peruvian newspapers. I was looking at some of them. One of them is an actual James Bond comic strip.
Whoa.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. And he moved to New York in 1970. He illustrated a few stories for Warren before moving over to rival Skywald magazine. And he worked there until 1973 when Saul Brodsky, who had left Skywald and gone back to Marvel, brought him over to Marvel, where, he worked on he did mostly horror stuff for a few years. And the majority of the Tales of the Zombie stories. And then, from there, he just would do a ton of work for DC and Marvel. And like you said, I mean, he's one of the more legendary comic artists of all time. And I was very excited to talk about him. This cover maybe isn't as good as his work on the horror magazines.
Hell no.
But it's still really nice we get to talk about him. So there's that.
No, it's a solid cover. It's just when you've seen other Pablo Marcos work, it's not very striking.
No, it's not. Even though, the his depiction of the werewolf is pretty good. Yeah.
No, I totally agree. And I have to admit, until you just did that little bio run through, I thought he was Filipino. So I learned something. I thought he was Filipino or Spanish. I didn't know he was Peruvian. So
yeah, I actually thought he was Spanish, but when I was looking up now, Peruvian. So from Peru, before he moved to New York, he actually moved from Peru to Mexico, and then from Mexico to New York. So it gets a little confusing, but no, he is Peruvian.
Is he still with us?
I don't know. I don't want to make that mistake again.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
So
Apologies.
Yeah. So this cover here is depicting the inside of a giant cave system, and there's a huge, dizzying chasm with a stream at the very bottom of it, and in the foreground there's a cliff, and there is a a guy. There's like an S&M sword and sandal, like sword and sorcery guy. I don't even know how to describe this character.
How the first thing that came to mind when I saw, which we'll learn his name, is Fire Eyes. And the first thing I looked at is I'm like, oh, he looks like a cross between like a He-Man character and a Lionel from Thundercats.
He does look like Lionel a lot.
Yeah.
That was my first thought as well. Yes, and He-Man. So he's got like big soaring shoulder pads, a weird that join down. His chest is like He-Man is almost completely exposed. And he has a weird porthole in his chest, almost like Glitter Knight. And then it goes down into a big, weird crotch codpiece kind of thing. And he's got gloves and boots, and that's all he wears. So he's kind of got a leather daddy kind of thing going on. And he's got flaming red hair, because you got it when your name is Fire Eyes, with big whip curls everywhere coming off of it. And so he's glowing and shooting beams out of his eyes at the werewolf, and he's hitting the werewolf in the chest and knocking him off of the cliff. The text box at the top says, "The man with the gaze of doom, Fire Eyes." At the bottom, an explosive little text box says, "And death shall be the change." You all should be very familiar with that phrase by now. The Three-Who-Are-All have been chanting that like sis boom ba for the last 3 issues.
Yeah, they have. It's funny now that you mention. I didn't really think of that thing on Fire Eyes on his chest as a weird little portal, but I wonder if that's some kind of thing that all of the three who are all or the five who were all have. If we would see them more in their full forms, if all of them have weird chest portals.
That's a great question. Does the Goat Child have it? Because we talked a lot about his costume last episode.
Yeah, that's true. I kind of miss Amy not being here, because she would talk about Fire Eye's costume and talk about how her eye just goes right to the crotch.
Yes, yes, she would. So I don't think we ever got to see Goat Child with in the last issue. It's all kind of him in space floating around with his back to us.
Mm-hmm. And then when we see them previously, we basically just see them from shoulders up.
Yeah, busts.
Yeah, busts aside from their giant cosmic battle. But
I'm just flipping through the last couple issues. Who saw him? Was that was at Buck's house, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well,
this is what happens when I bring up hard-hitting questions.
Yeah, like chest holes.
Yep. Chest holes.
Did they? Oh, okay, so there's the snake lady. Oh, he had Buck's shirt on.
Oh, that's right.
We've never actually seen him fully exposed.
Let's just say that they all have weird little chest holes that shoot light.
No, I like that.
I'll sleep better at night if we decide on that.
So, yeah, listener, if you haven't seen this yet, it looks kind of like the hole that Tony Stark puts his power source into in the first Iron Man movie, where it's all the viscous, conductive stuff in there. But the problem is that Fire Eyes does not actually zap the werewolf over the edge of a cliff into a chasm over a stream, so we have to drink.
Yeah, we do.
I like this cover. Again, it's just not, knowing Pablo Marcos, I'm just not blown away by it, but it's solid. The inking's really nice on Fire Eyes. Very bold and striking. It pops. The werewolf fur looks great. I love the way he kind of has the ears and the hair all kind of wisping up into a point that's at the very top of the werewolf's head, so it's all kind of aerodynamic. But yeah, I don't know.
It's okay. It's not my favorite.
It's not going to be on my list.
No, it would not be on my list. I would just think of it as a middling cover, except now I'm just so weirded out that it's Pablo Marcos.
Yeah. So if this is your first exposure to Pablo Marcos, folks, I highly recommend you pick up the Marvel Horror Lives omnibus that has the Tales of the Zombie run in it. You will be absolutely blown away.
It really makes me think. I mean, I know I've talked a lot about Doug and him dumbing down his kind of cooler adult style of writing that he does for the Curtis magazines. And yeah, it makes me wonder if people like Pablo Marcos, who also has a very adult, very graphic style that's really, really beautiful, if they felt like they had to dumb themselves down a bit to basically work on these comics for children.
Yeah. I mean, if you've seen Simon Garth as a zombie, the way Pablo Marcos renders him, it's the most intricate, gorgeous. I mean, I could kind of see him thinking this is for 12-year-old boys, not 18-year-old boys, or, I don't know. Just it's more Saturday morning cartoon version of his art style than anything else. Like, this is him minimalizing, streamlining his stuff, cartooning for him.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, it's probably just conforming to a house style.
Yeah, I think I think you just nailed it right there. I think it's just him serving a house style. I
mean, we haven't seen Romita alterations in a long time. I don't know if that's just because Perlin plays ball and, isn't gonna stray too far from the house style. But I also wonder how much in charge as an art director John Romita is at this point. I think he still is. I mean, this is only the end of 76, so yeah. I think he's still in charge.
I like to think that there's some prison chops to Perlin where it's like he's at a drafting table in the Marvel offices and Jesse Johnny is walking around looking over people's shoulder and he just kind of eye fucks them, puts his arm around the page. It's like, keep walking, pal.
Yeah. Yeah, let's go on to the rest of the issue. We'll go on with the opening page. And yeah, same title as we got on the cover, and Death Shall Be the Change. Creators for this issue are Doug Mensch, writer, Don Perlin, artist, Deb James, letterer. Yeah, we're getting very familiar now. Mm-hmm. The great George Rousseau's colorer, and we have Archie Goodwin as editor. Very happy to say his name too, because the day that we're recording is his birthday. So I think that's pretty cool. This is his first credit on Werewolf by Night. So I had to go and look up the timeline because, we talk a lot about the timeline for these guys who took over as editor-in-chief. How long did they last in this terrible job that everyone hated? And yes.
Sorry, I have a question.
as you're raising your hand.
I'm raising my hand. When did he was at DC in the 60s, right? I mean, he came to Marvel. Am I right? Am I crazy? I associate him with late 60s DC, House of Mystery. Am I thinking of somebody else?
No, I mean, I think he did that, but I mean, for the late 60s, he's at Warren for most of that time.
Oh, okay.
He's writing everything.
Yeah. I knew he was, yeah.
And yeah, I mean, he would bounce back from DC and Marvel. I have a great 70s collection hardcover of his, of a lot of his Batman stories. And God, they're my favorite. They're my absolute favorite. So, so I went back and looked, and I guess, so Marv Wolfman is no longer the editor on this book. Last issue was his final job editing on Werewolf by Night. And I didn't realize, but Marv had actually stepped down from his editor-in-chief position back around March of 76. And he was succeeded by Jerry Conway, who lasted a month and a half. And then Conway,
between issues?
Yes, yeah, I know, pretty much.
Wow,
but that's a quote from Conway.
No, I'm not bashing him. I'm sure it's an incredibly stressful and unrewarding job.
It is. I just think he was. I mean, maybe that shows he's the smartest out of all these guys because he's just like, oh no, I'm not doing that.
No, I was just tripping out because while you were talking, it's like, wait a minute. So Wolfman stepped down, and this got the axe 2 issues later, which is 4 months later.
Yeah, that's true. So Marv is gone, right around March, maybe April of 76. Jerry Conway takes over for a couple months. Then he hands the reins over to Archie Goodwin. So Archie Goodwin has been editor-in-chief for, I think, a few months by now. I mean, this is cover dated November, so we're talking, maybe August, September, Marvel time. But I think that since Marv was listed as the editor last book, I think maybe he just kind of finished up editing just the books that were his babies, basically. But by the time this issue comes out, Marv had stopped editing totally and had focused solely on writing. And he just went crazy. He's so busy at this point. In October, November of 76, he's writing Tomb of Dracula, Doctor Strange, Nova, Power Man, Ghost Rider, and Daredevil.
Holy shit.
I feel like he was probably stoked to not have to deal with the immense headaches that comes with being an editor or editor-in-chief even. So I feel like he had a lot pent up that he's just exploding right now, which is cool. I mean, all the stuff is pretty good too. So
Is any of that pre-Miller Daredevil, are there any notable runs by anybody, teams?
God, I can't remember who took over before Miller. So I think that would mean no.
Okay.
I'm sure there's some good stuff.
Right.
But, you know, once Miller comes on, it's all, I mean, no one's going to remember too much.
Well,
and you know,
transformational, so it's fair.
Yeah. And we're in 1976. So, you know, like we've said before, Marvel's not maybe at the height of its creative powers right about now.
I just never understood how Daredevil didn't get canceled. Did it ever get canceled?
I don't think so. No.
I mean, even X-Men. Did X-Men was reverting to reprints at one point before that giant X-Men rebirth. Yes.
So before that, it was the great run, probably the greatest of the early X-Men run was the Roy Thomas, Neil Adams run, which is just one volume of Marvel Masterworks, like a paperback. So can't remember how many issues it is, but that stuff is kick ass. And then it goes to reprints, and then it's canceled, and then it comes back as giant size.
Okay. So wow, it's just weird that Daredevil just kind of just held on the side of the toilet bowl while the flush just kept happening.
Yeah, it did. I mean, I don't think it was ever the worst book that Marvel put out, but it's definitely not anything that I've gone back and read pre. I think I have the very first Marvel Masterworks that has like the first, I don't know, 10 issues. And then I have Miller stuff. And even though, I mean, God, Daredevil is one of my favorite books. Like it's one of the books consistently over the last 10 years that I've gotten every single run.
Yeah. Well,
like from, all of it. I mean, it's all good.
But I mean, it was interesting to get those paperbacks, like the first 6 issues, you know, those little, you know, from the 70s. And it was like with his yellow and whatever suit. And he was just a Spidey knockoff back then. Yes. It was a shock to me knowing who the character became in the later incarnations. Okay. Sorry. Back to Archie Goodwin.
Yes. We should talk about Archie Goodwin a little bit. But the stuff that I'm most familiar with, I mean, I have a bunch of his Warren stuff, but what I love the most is his backup story. When he was writing Batman and Detective Comics, he did a backup story with the DC character Manhunter, who was originally this Simon and Kirby Golden Age character, but he updated it with Walt Simonson. And I think it's probably the greatest comics of the 70s. I just don't think there's anything better. It's super dark. People die. Yeah. I mean, spoiler, but he dies.
Yeah.
Like, that's what's so great about it is it's like, I don't know, 6 or 7 backup stories. Batman teams up with him at the end, and then Manhunter fucking dies.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
And I mean, everyone loved it. It won all the awards. Yeah. You know, Goodwin is just, I mean, it's almost, I mean, everyone has said it constantly over and over again that he was so loved by everyone. Like no one had a bad word to say about the guy for his entire career. Yeah. So he's editor-in-chief now. He's going to be replaced by Jim Shooter, I think at the end of 77. And Jim Shooter, who was not loved by all.
Nope.
So that's an interesting segue.
Kind of caused the mass exodus of a lot of the bullpen, right?
Yes. All the guys that we loved, your Jerry Conway, your Marv Wolfman, all those guys basically left to DC when
droves.
Yeah, in droves when Shooter took over. And I think both of us are on the same page about this. I mean, Shooter's probably an asshole. I mean, I think that's pretty obvious. But I think he did good things too.
He did. Yeah.
I think he did really good things. I mean, I think, you know, people talk about him being a control freak and stuff, but he also let people kill characters. Mm-hmm. Like he let Phoenix be killed. He let Beta Ray Bill take over for Thor. Like
that's pretty fucking cool.
It's pretty cool. Like a lot of the shit. And, you know, you and I were kids when, I mean, Shooter was controlling everything we were reading as little kids, like Secret Wars and all this shit. Yep. I mean, that's all Shooter. So I think people around our age, New Universe. And that's Archie Goodwin too, if I'm correct. I mean, I'm pretty sure he just came up with every idea for the new universe.
I think that he spat those all out and assigned them.
Yeah. But Archie Goodwin, great guy. Very excited. He's editor on this. I'm just excited when guys like Marcos or Goodwin show up because then we just get to chat about him. And that makes me really happy.
Yeah. So happy birthday, Goodwin.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Simonson posted on his Instagram just this very, very sweet thing about how he was having a hard time finding work, but then after Goodwin brought him in on Manhunter, he never had to look for work again. And he also, that Archie introduced him to a woman named Louise Jones.
Oh.
And so, yeah. So Simonson had some very, very nice things to say about Archie Goodwin. Shocker.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. We've had a lot of asides.
One last one, though.
Okay, I'm ready.
While Goodwin did spit out a bunch of the ideas for the new universe titles, one of them was Jim Shooter's, and it was Starbrand, which is one of my favorite ones. And that's basically where he wrote himself into a book as essentially Green Lantern, but even higher god level power. And it was, I guess, a joke around the office, like this is his ego project.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So Starbrand ran way longer than any other ones did because he kind of protected it because it was his little ego project.
This is okay. Let's just keep the funny asides going.
Okay.
So I always think it's weird when so Jim Shooter, he's like 6'5" or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's super tall. And I always am just like kind of shocked at how when super tall guys have really giant egos and act like they have something to prove. I'm a tall guy. I'm 6'2". You're a pretty tall guy. And I always have this thing to where it's just like, oh, I don't have anything to prove. I'm tall. Like I already won. Like I don't have anything to prove as a man.
Well, yeah. Maybe he has something to prove elsewhere. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for the jaunt.
Yes. Oh, we were going to try and keep this one short. All right. So
I don't need to be short. I need therapy.
You never need. You want these episodes to be 3 hours long. I'm just going to come out and say it.
Okay.
All right. So we're going to jump in. So read the creators and we'll talk about this opening page. On the opening page, we see Topaz in her harpy form that we saw at the end of the last issue. She's kind of lunging at the werewolf and Daniel Drum. Dr. Glitter Knight is hovering above. And then we have, I think what we landed on last episode, we have the Cavity Creeps who are kind of oddly menacing on the side there. I kept focusing on them this issue because they're they're light demons, I think is what Doug has been calling them.
Yes.
But God, they're goofy. They're the goofiest things. They're not scary at all.
No, they're not scary. I love them.
I do. So we're just going to call them Cavity Creeps from now on.
Like one of them looks like he's in the band in Return of the Jedi on the pleasure barge.
Oh, that's right.
He's got like a little tiny like man-thing elephant kind of trunk and tusks like a walrus.
With his two little tusks. Yeah, I know.
They're adorable.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they look like they should be in some kind of band, like singing Archie's type songs.
Yeah, and if they are in any way humanoid, they have on a skirt or shorts.
Yes. Okay. And at the bottom of the page is weirdly enough is my favorite thing about this page. So yeah, in the foreground, we see two of the like comatose Zuvembis that are still being drained by Glitter Knight to make fake Zuvembis. I think he's still trying to do that. They're still hooked up to that weird incubator thing. And one of them is whole. And the other one is just a bunch of Plug plasma.
Yeah.
Which I was just like
formed.
Yeah, he's being formed, and I was just like, "Oh, that's so cool." I don't know why. That was the detail of this page that I was drawn to, and I love.
My favorite part of the page as well. Great use of depth, putting them right in the foreground like that, and just great detail and stuff. Perlin just knocks this out of the park, in my opinion. This issue, I just kept thinking, like, this is not the art of a guy writing a dying book.
No, it's not. It really seems like he's really giving his all every issue. Like, yeah. I wonder how. I think that if he knew months in advance that these were his last issues, I mean, but maybe he's just a consummate professional. Maybe he's going to put his all into every issue that he does. I mean, We know he's a professional. We know he's a cool guy, super talented guy. So maybe that's it. Yeah.
So this is a great page. I love this page. I love that the light demons look like they're cheering on a fight in a schoolyard or something. I think they're intended to be menacing and like charging towards Daniel Drum and the Beast, but yeah, I don't know. That one red worm guy looks like he's going like, yeah, get him, kill him.
He is. It's like they're sitting on the berm at a Portland Pickles game.
The first line here of narration feels to me like it should be one of those like famous first lines of a novel, like it was the best of times, it was the worst of times. It says, inside an enormous black egg, the amazing Dr. Glitter Knight opened his cage of light. That just seems like that's like you write it on a chalkboard in a coffee shop and everyone's like, ooh.
It's like cellar door. Wow.
Somebody's ready. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but did you notice? Okay, so that's the narration. And then right underneath it, the only other bit of narration is Topaz flew out, ready to kill me. This is a new record for least amount of words on an opening page, bar none.
I feel like there are times in this issue, I've made notes of this, like where it's like, wow, Doug really let Dawn do Dawn stuff. And even when Doug is oversharing, he's actually filling in the gaps of stuff we're not seeing. Like they were really firing on all cylinders here.
Yeah, it's a great issue. I'm really excited to dive into it.
Yeah. So on page 2, the Topaz Harpy has leaped onto the top of the werewolf and he's screaming, Topaz, no! And she's like slashing at him, and the light demons are wrapping themselves around Daniel Drum's spirit. And I feel like Amy gave me a pass last episode. So we get a nice shot of Topaz's can here. And that's all.
Yeah, Amy said it was cool.
She's working that jumpsuit that has been converted into a miniskirt and top somehow in the transformation. So Glitter Knights, they're screaming. He's telling the Zuvimbis to rise and slay the enemies of Glitter Knight. And the original Zuvimbis that were the master Xerox for all the copies of light copies start sitting up. So apparently this is like serious. Like these are actually strong. You can't somehow defeat them as easily as you could the facsimiles. And so they start all attacking. And there's this great panel here where it says Topaz kicked me in the fangs. And she's like floating in the air, kicking Jack in the face, Jack Beast. And there's these weird monsters Perlin went nuts with designing these light demons. Like one of them looks like a cat with no skin. And there's just like sections that are like taken out with an X-Acto knife and you can see inside of its like body.
I know.
And one has like a scorpion tail and like these crab claws. They're crazy. And it made me think of, tell me you remember The Other World by Arco. Those toys in the early 80s, like they were considered knockoff shitty toys. But they were like bendable rubber. And so you get like a set of like 2 or 4 and they all had like staffs and they were all just like weird little alien things. But there's this whole, like there's a whole collector's like thing behind them now. Like fascinated with them. But like the Glogons were the enemies. I forgot what the good guys were called, but they were all they kind of janky and they're always like in clearance bins at like Sprouse Rights and Payless and stuff like that. But they become like very revered now, but if you look up The Other World by Arco, ARCO, you'll go, oh my god, those fucking things. I remember those everywhere. Anyway, these guys look like the Other World creatures from Arco. And then so Topaz slashes at the beast, so she's just kind of kicking his ass right here. And he's wondering if the Three-Who-Are-All are watching this fiasco. And Glitter Knight gets a nice little shrieking thing at the end here. He's like, hear me, Werebeast, you have defeated me once in the past, but this time you shall fall and die screaming under the darkness from Glitter Knight. Some great art on this page, just all around. Like, Perlin is like, again, not just like slacking. He's not like just doing like the easy thing. Like, I mean, those last 2 panels of Glitter Knight, just interesting angle shifts that are like jump cuts where you just wouldn't expect. It's not like a hard zoom in, like close up. It's actually an angle change and like a smash cut into an extreme close up. Like, just interesting.
Well, that's the thing with Perlin is that if you just skim these pages, you're just like, oh yeah, he just is a master at making comics that look like comics from the 70s. They look like good comics. And but you just scratch barely beneath the surface and you see what a master he is just at storytelling. Like, yeah, his angles, his shadows, the way he shows movement. Yeah, he's a fucking master.
Yep.
So the next page, the battle continues and yeah, I like it. So Glitter Knight is floating around saying like, before Werebeast or after you die. And Daniel Drum is like, resist the creature, Jack. You've changed to the werewolf. Now you must fight as the werewolf. And Jack replies, but I can't, Daniel. Don't you see? This thing is really Topaz. Glitter Knight wants me to win, but I can't. I'd be killing Topaz. You've got to help me stop her some other way. And so Daniel Drum stops fighting with the cavity creeps and goes straight into the Topaz Harpy, inhabiting her lost soul. And I like that this enrages Glitter Knight, who just lets loose with just a no. And again, the angle on his head there and his neck fins are looking great. Yeah, this is another really, really cool page. I love that upper right-hand panel with Daniel Drum, punching at one of the real Zuvembis. Well, one of the light demons is just, got him in a headlock.
Yeah.
But it's so fucking cool. Or the narration above that says, a spirit, Daniel was normally unable to speak, but here in the Black Egg, death canceled out death, and Daniel lived.
So I think you did a common psychological thing here where something is so repulsive or horrifying that you just block it out. But I'm going to jump back one panel to where after Glitter Knight's floating, he says, Werebeast, you die. Or whatever. It says light spurted from his chest. He was obviously excited. I just wrote, ooh.
Yeah, you love to go back and highlight things that, yeah, you're right. My brain just skips over because I don't want to imagine Glitter Knight spurting anything.
Yeah.
And I don't want to imagine him spurting something when he's excited. So yes. Yeah, I skipped that over.
So on the next page, because I think Jack leaves off asking what the hell, oh, no, he doesn't. So Glitter Knight's bellowing in rage. And then we cut to the exterior of the Black Egg, and up on a cliff over it, Brother Voodoo is pushing, like Wile E. Coyote, a giant boulder off the edge of a cliff onto the egg, grunting with the pressure. And he says, I'm going to butcher this, I apologize, may Gwede or Gede Nimbo and all of the Loa of Voodoo give me strength to do what it must be done. So I had to look him up because I kind of know Loa stuff from Tales of the Zombie and just, being mildly interested in Haitian voodoo stuff. But he's commonly referred to as Gede Nimbo or Gede Nibo. And he's a leader of spirits of the dead in Haitian voodoo. He's formerly a human who was a handsome young man who was killed violently. And after his death, he was adopted as a Loa by Baron Samdi and Maman Brigitte, or Bridget, I don't know how you say it. And he's envisioned as an effeminate nasal dandy. Nibbo wears a black riding coat or drag, and when he inhabits humans, they are inspired to lascivious sexuality of all kinds.
Damn, that's great.
Yeah. So, yeah, and there's also some folk songs about him, which I was having a hard time finding, but I wanted to play some of that here for you guys, but couldn't scare any up. But anyway, we cut back inside the egg, and now Daniel is inside of the Harpy Topaz, and she's writhing in pain, flopping around like a fish on a dock. And Glitter Knight swoops in angrily, going, pew, pew, pew. No, you can't take my child away from me, which creeped me out. I know that he means it I corrupted her and now I own her. But it made me feel weird because he's been around her since she was a kid. And I don't know, there was overtones of stuff I didn't like there. But he clarifies and says, she's a daughter of darkness, of Glitter Knight. I will slay her before I will allow her to be corrupted by goodness again. And Jack just thinks, he was a wacko, and his bullet bursts of light might hit her at any moment. So I had to stop him. So I sprang forward, hoping to snag him in midair. And so he's jumping up to reach the flying squirrel Glitter Knight, and a tentacle of one of the cavity creeps wraps around his ankle, his wolf ankle. It's a putrid light demon. And on the bottom here with this long horizontal panel, which is fucking awesome.
Man.
Of 5 of these different light demons, and one has their tentacle wrapped around the werewolf's throat, and they're just overwhelming him, and he's screaming, "Let go of me, you slimy bloodsuckers!" But he says, "I was
last panel. Holy shit,
so good." He says, "I was helplessly and swiftly getting mauled."
Yeah, this is a hell of a page. On this page and the next, there's so much action that happens in the 10 panels. But yeah, Perlin knew that just that bottom panel, which is very long, and it has so much in there and has so much detail, and
it's gorgeous.
It's so cool. So yeah, and on the next page, a lot of action happens on this page. So there are 4 panels on top, 2 in the middle, and 4 at the bottom. So the top 4 show Brother Voodoo pushing, this giant boulder that he's having to drop on top of the giant black egg, and it crashes through and passes right in between Topaz and Glitter Knight's light beam. And then it says, and as it intercepted the destructive light from Glitter Knight, it shattered into 1,000 shards. There's this great panel of the thing exploding. And it says, Topaz fluttered to the floor of the egg and lay still. And so she's, starting to kind of change back. It looks like a little bit. She's kind of whispering, "Help me, please, Jack." And then the narration gave me my favorite line of the entire issue, which it says, "Evil was losing its grip on her and goodness was winning. thank Daniel, and praise voodoo.
Yeah, I love that.
It's just like, oh, yeah. Yeah.
You also get another fucking completely badass entrance.
Oh, this is the coolest entrance. I mean, and Brother Voodoo has had some cool ass entrances. But okay, so the bottom 4 panels show Brother Voodoo basically becoming a pillar of fire that like rushes into the egg, and he leaps out of the flames and just cold cocks Glitter Knight, all while these like voodoo drums pound in the background. It's the most badass thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, it reminded me of like, do you remember towards the end of Big Trouble in Little China when there's like a hole blown through the floors while they're trying to escape from the area, and like the lightning dude like just like slowly like comes down or up, I forgot, through the hole in the floor, just kind of like rises. That's what he's doing. He's like riding flame down through the eggshell into there and just surges out and punches Glitter Knight in the face, which is very cathartic for everybody who's read any of these issues.
Yeah, it's weird. I love it when Glitter Knight either just gets punched or has a sack put over his head.
Yeah.
I just like, he used to be a god, and Buck put a sack over his head and just smashed him against a banister. Like, there's something really satisfying about that.
It is. One thing that kind of bugged me though, I like that sequence where Brother Voodoo pushes the boulder off the cliff, and just as Glitter Knight's beams are about to smash Topaz's skull, that boulder intercepts them. Cool. But Jack's narration says, but at the last moment, something crashed through the roof like a boulder through eggshell. That's literally what this is. Yeah,
it is literally a boulder going through eggshell.
I don't know why that irritated me. I was like, yeah, no shit, Jack.
Yeah.
I don't mean that in a Manson-y way. I meant
no.
Jack Russell. Jack.
Oh, shit, Jack.
So in the next page, this is just a parade of action scenes here. This is just crazy. The Beast is kind of kicking ass, and he says, hey, be careful up there. If Glitter Knight hits you with a blast of light and it's too late, Brother Voodoo gets hit with a blast of light. And he flies back and slams into a cliff and falls down to the floor of the egg. And then Glitter Knight soars in. And there's a cool panel here where he's flying, and we see in the background these silhouettes of all the little cavity creep guys. It's one of my favorite parts for some reason.
It's cool.
And Jack refers to him as an extremely bizarre but probably wise coward as Glitter Knight flies away.
Yeah.
And where Jack is saying, Daniel, I don't know if you can hear me in there, but you've done your job. Topaz is all right now, and Jericho needs you. And Daniel swarms out of her astral form, says, I hear you, Jack Russell. I shall return to my brother. As Topaz is kind of like rising, going, what happened? And then Daniel re-enters his brother's body, and it says he slipped inside, fitting as neat as a glove, while I prayed and slashed.
So how cool. I mean, aside from that, this panel being really cool of when Jack is kind of slashing at the light demons. But man, Deborah James is killing it with the lettering on that, where he's yelling. He's like, Daniel, I don't know if you can hear me in there. And just the word Daniel, just
super
letters.
Heavy.
Oh, it's so heavy and so awesome.
Yeah, she's amazing.
She really is.
I'm a huge fan of her work now. I don't know if I was aware of her before this.
No, I wasn't at all. I want to do a little more research and see what she went on to do after this. But and that last panel is really great too, with Daniel kind of going back in to try to restore strength of his brother. Yeah, it's a really cool page. And my God, on the next page, like, this is an action-packed issue. It just keeps going. So I love that Topaz is now fully awake. And she says, Jericho, please, there are too many of them. You've got to help us. But she's doing a pretty good job. You know, She's got her mind powers back. She's shooting her Esper beams at the light demons. Okay, so this is my least favorite narration of the issue, because Jericho kind of comes to and sits up, and he's like, very well, Topaz, stand aside. That says, weak and trembling, Jericho made with the mumbo jumbo hand jive, and a circle of fire shot up from the floor, engulfing my attackers. It's like, I mean, he said hand jive. No, he said hand jive a couple of times, and I'm like, all right, that's fine. Yeah. It's a little cringy, but mumbo jumbo hand jive, that was too much for me. I was just like, fuck that.
I kind of elided over that because I like the next part of it so much. This little detail that Doug throws in kind of for no reason, but it's a cool little display here. We're saying Jericho had great control too. At the center of the circle, I remained unscathed. So Brother Voodoo's flame is so perfectly controlled that he just had made a ring of it around the werewolf. So the cavity creeps are burning in Zuvembi's while he's unscathed. And then he does a cool standing
Oh, it's so badass.
forward flip out of the fire. What the fuck?
Suddenly he's all into tumbling and just does this amazing like somersault out of the fire. It says, still I decided to vault through the flames, tumbling to safety. And it says, behind me, the panicked servants of Glitter Knight began a free-for-all within their private inferno. So they're just being burned to death, kind of waving their arms and screaming.
Yep.
And Brother Voodoo says, come, Jack Russell, Glitter Knight fled in this direction. There may still be time to save Raymond Coker. And thank God someone's thinking of Raymond Coker.
I'd forgotten about him, to be honest.
I had to. And Brother Voodoo said that, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm an asshole. I forgot about poor Raymond Coker, who just probably fell flat on his face again.
Somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere.
We get a really cool panel on the next page that starts us off with lots of black and shadow, as the foreground is like all in blacks and purples, these stalagmites and stalactites, and the background is yellow. And the characters that are coming towards us are green. George Rousseau, crazy good
so
stuff.
Good.
So, Jack's saying, and I love that. So who does the balloons? Is that Deborah or is that Dawn?
Ooh, that's a good inside baseball question that I don't know. I
just love that they have stuck with the fact that the werewolf form of Jack speaks differently than Jack does. Like he is bestial and has like a ragged voice.
Yeah, it's cool. It's really, really well done.
But he's saying, I guess the Three-Who-Are-All were right. I did change just by willing it and forcing it. I wish I could change back to my human form now. And he's like, wait, what the? It's happening. And he changes back into Jack Russell. He's like, I did it again. Changed. And that one transformation panel with the red background is kind of horrifying. Like, it kind of looks like he's like liquid for a second.
Yeah, well, I don't know if we've gotten that because like it's almost like half of his like one half of his face, like the left side of his face is human and the right is werewolf. I don't know if we've gotten that before. And yeah, it's freaky.
It's a little body horror-ish.
It is.
And then, you ring a bell. The Three-Who-Are-All appear as disembodied heads floating above. And they say, yes, the change is now complete, but only while you remain here within this arcane sphere of Glitter Knight's sorceress influence. It says, for you to attain a state of permanent self-will, one who extends beyond this sphere into the realm of your reality, there must still occur a death. And Jack is as done with this prophecy as we all are, and he just snaps. And he's like, that does it. It's time you dished, you three weirdos, it's time I dished you three weirdos a piece of my mind. I still don't know who or what you are, but I'm through being intimidated by you. So he's like, saying, you've been haunting me for days and I'm sick of it. I've been your lousy little plaything. You're ping-ponging me back and forth between human and werewolf. It's all over now, you hear? You even told me about this change which will involve death, and I want to know once and for all, whose death? Narration at the bottom just says, I guess I was a little mad.
Yeah, he really goes off. He just screams at these, three disembodied godheads that just keep popping up and reminding him that, yep, there's a change, but guess what? There's going to be death too with that change. And yeah,
on Jack's side, rarely,
Oh, me too. But I'm totally on his side in this point. And the funniest thing is that it actually works because on the next page, screaming at them totally worked. And the Three-Who-Are-All, they start talking to him. They start giving him answers. They say, very well, Jack Russell, the death which is necessary to achieve the final change is the death of the fourth. So they kind of recap the origin story of Glitter Knight driving out the fourth before doing battle with the three. And it says that, but know that before Glitter Knight was defeated and reduced to this reality called Earth, he confined the fourth, whom he had defeated, to the worst hell imaginable. That hell is now present here, Jack Russell, in this reality, which is even now stirred by our breath. So they say, release the fourth from his confinement. Through his death, the final change will be attained. And so he's like, wait a minute, are you serious? Like, you just want me to kill this guy, your friend? You want me to murder a guy who was once part of your team? And they fade away, and they're like, yours will not be the hand which will cause the death of the fourth. And they kind of, fade away. I love that he's still pretty pissed off. He's like, terrific. Now I'm not sure if I know any more than I did before. I'm just more confused. Brother Voodoo, voice of reason, is just like, there's no time to dwell on it, Jack Russell. We must still find Raymond Coker before he's slain. He just keeps being up like, guys, we gotta go. We gotta find Raymond Coker. He's going to die. Yeah. I know you're pissed and you're yelling at crazy phantoms right now. But then I like how Jack, answers them. He's like, yeah, if he ain't dead already. Yeah. Like Jack's in full tantrum mode right now.
Yeah. I get it though. I mean, it's kind of like you're the chosen one and it'll all be revealed. And it's just like days and days of it. So on the next page, they continue on through the cavern. And there's, again, some more of that cool coloring and stuff with the yellow background and the purple and black foreground. And a cute little cavity creep guy, he's like a giant caterpillar with big bulbous eyes. He's just adorable. Amy would love him.
Yep.
And they enter this giant chamber, and I did not see this coming at all. There is a giant spider web made of light. And the spider, essentially is Dr. Glitter Knight. And he has two bodies up there, and he has green light coming out of his chest hole, which are attached to the chests of the two people. And they walk in, and Glitter Knight is so focused on feeding, or whatever he's doing, that he doesn't notice them. So Jack says, what's he doing up there? And then Brother Voodoo says, quiet, Jack Russell. He's not seen us yet. So they're watching. And then we get kind of a close-up of what's going on. And Glitter Knight is feeding off of Raymond Coker, and someone I didn't recognize at first because I assumed he was dead, which is Vic Northrop. So they're both had their shirts torn open and are stuck like flies on this web of light. And they have green tendrils going to their chests in kind of a gross way. And Coker's saying, no, please let me go. So weak. And Glitter Knight's, doing Glitter Knight stuff, pontificating about how your power will feed me and make me stronger, blah, blah, blah. And it says he was draining them of life, both of them, Coker and then finally Jack recognizes who it is. He's like, Northrop? Don't know what he's doing here, troops, but we better work up a plan of action. Jericho, this is all whisper with the little, broken lines. Jericho, maybe you could toss some fire up at him. And Brother Voodoo's like, nah, that wouldn't work, dude. Like he would warn him, and, we have the element of surprise here. Let's make a plan. We have to strike. And then Jack notices that some of the web of light is coming down like a ladder, like hanging down low. And he's like, hey, maybe we can climb that light web without him noticing, which just made me go like, I don't know, like, isn't that how spider webs work? Like they spin the web and then they feel vibrations and find prey. And then anyway, and Brother Voodoo says, I agree, but our attack would be stronger if you were the werewolf. He's like, if I can change on sheer willpower again. Okay, here goes. And he starts straining and sweating. He says, I shut my eyes, clenched my fists, and concentrated.
Yeah, this is a really cool page. I'm with you. Like that opening panel with the purple and black cave and the people just all colored green. Like for some reason, it really just, I don't know how it does such a good job of demonstrating just the weird light that is in caves.
Yeah. Yeah. And especially this cave, right? That is not of our world.
No, it is inside of a massive black egg. So yeah, light's going to be pretty strange.
I do like the depiction of Glitter Knight as essentially a giant spider.
I like that too.
Sucking on the life force of these victims in his web. I mean, it's a little on the nose, but it's like pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. And I imagined like this is Glitter Knight's inner sanctum that we're witnessing. Like this is his living room where he eats. And yeah. But like you said, Jack is straining to change. And then, wow, we get a really weird transformation sequence on the next page. So it's fairly unique. I don't think we've seen this before. So the first three panels of the change are, they reminded me, it's like three old like cigarette cards that you get from like the 30s or 40s. And it's like they're falling through the air, like onto a table. And each have a depiction of the transformation. And it's so cool. It's something I was trying to think of like who it reminded me of or a style. It's almost like a Steranko thing almost, right? Yeah. Am I making that up?
No, like taking that pop art kind of, I can see Steranko, definitely.
Yeah, but it's so cool and so uniquely Perlin, but really, really badass. And it ends at the end of that long kind of top row. It ends with a panel of the fully transformed werewolf, though he does kind of have that suckerfish mouth a little bit.
His mouth is huge.
His mouth is massive.
So are his teeth.
Yeah, and it's cool. And the teeth make up for the weird kind of mouth shape. Okay, so the gang is now ready to do battle, and Jericho tells Topaz to stay behind and distract Glitter Knight at the appropriate time. And so Jack and Jericho, they find the doctor, they sneak up on him as he's yelling. He's like, "More power!" Which really cracked me up. At the bottom there, it says Jericho waved the high sign to Topaz. So did you, again, Buster Keaton keeps coming up. Yeah. Did you think of the high sign by Buster Keaton?
I did, yes.
I did too. I was just like, oh, I hope Matt's seen that. Because I love that movie.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. So they have a plan. So they've their plan is almost ready to go.
So one thing that I really liked here at the top of this transformation sequence is that Doug kind of makes the pain, changes it to where it's owned by Jack in a weird way. So he's like saying, "It hurt, Lord, did it hurt. A hurricane stole my heart. Acid sizzled through my veins like liquid fire. My brain exploded. Yeah, it hurt all right." And then that final phase where you see him growling, he says, "But it worked too. Instant catharsis. The big change, shoved from the inside out, not spiked from the outside in. I was the werewolf and Jack Russell knew it." I really like that just kind of pivot there to this being, it still hurts and it's still a trial, but it's something that he owns and he gets to control now.
Yeah, and he's transformed from the beast back to human to the beast in what, like 15 minutes or something like that? He can just turn it off and on now. This is the new direction.
Yep. My only note was was this Gambit? Because it looked like playing cards like this tiles. But I think Stranko's a much better read of that.
Yeah, okay.
That was just a lazy. So he has changed, and Topaz saw the high sign from Brother Voodoo, and she says, "Glitter Knight, down here."
I thought she was going to distract him in some other way than just being like, "Look over here."
Yeah. So she just goes straight for the jugular there. And speaking of, Jack says, "I lunged," and he jumps forward. And he growls and he says, "The snarl was strictly for effect," which I love. Like he's just in the spirit of things. And Glitter Knight's like, "What?" And he starts slashing, and his slash physically breaks the light tendril coming out of Glitter Knight's chest, which I thought was kind of cool, cutting his vampire pipeline of light, hoping he hadn't sucked all the life from Coker and Northrop. And Glitter Knight's not happy to see him. He says, "You again, werebeast. Fool, I'm now stronger than ever. Have you come to die?" And he's like, Jack says, "No, I've been sent by the Three-Who-Are-All to free the fourth from your hell." And that wigs Glitter Knight out. He's like,
"It does.
The three? They have intruded upon this reality to aid you?" And this whole thing has been Jack buying time so Brother Voodoo can sneak up behind. He says, "Yeah, they're helping me, but they're not the only ones, Baldy." And then Brother Voodoo springs, a great panel of his musculature, like just super ripped, jumping onto Glitter Knight's back. And he wraps him up in a full Nelson. And Glitter Knight says, "Stupid fools, both of you, how long do you think it will take me to break free?" Jack thinks that was one question we hadn't considered.
It's such a cool page. I love it. Yeah, when the werewolf slashes the what Doug calls the vampire pipeline of light, and yeah, it looks like those Plug plasma dots are just like flying off everywhere now, like it's a fire hose that's been cut in half. It's so cool.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and so on the next page, we see Jericho still has a hold on Glitter Knight, who says, "But first, Werebeast, you said you wanted me to release the fourth from his imprisonment. Very well, I shall release him, and he shall be your executioner." He says, "For the hell in which he is trapped is my soul, and he has been corrupted by my soul throughout all the long eons since I did battle with the Three-Who-Are-All. He is now subservient to me, and I give him to you now, the fourth." And so he's out of his chest portal comes this light and plasma and little black circles, and it forms this character that we saw on the cover. And Glitter Knight says, "Fire eyes." And I wish he was named something else. I just do. But again, I don't know, 12-year-old kids. Who knew? It's just goofy as shit. Like, I think this is, I mean, this is an awesome issue and this is an awesome arc. But I think if you were going to choose a shark jumping point in this arc, I really think it's this.
Yeah, and just like design wise and execution, he's like the first character since Elfric. What was that thing he generated? That was like a Minotaur, Dragonus.
Dragonus, yes.
Like that. This is like the first misfire like since then, where it's just kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, Conan is popular.
Well, and I keep going back to this, but I really think this is another instance of Doug writing a really cool, like layered, thought out story. And then realizing, oh shit, this is supposed to be for kids.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, Fire Eyes, kids. Here you go. And he sticks something stupid in because he thinks that's what is expected of him.
Yeah.
Like it's a bit of a disservice to kind of a cool story. And I mean, his natural storytelling, which I think is very cool and adult and layered. And so it's a whiplash sometimes with him to where I feel like he's changing his style for the kiddie books.
I mean, even, yes, like the Five Who Are All, like Fire Eyes doesn't even fit in with them. Like,
no.
If it had been something that was esoteric and kind of dark and sinister and got some Campbellian, whatever, like, thought myth thing, like, like Mangoat and that, Snake Lady, all that stuff.
Yeah, it should have been some kind of thought totem,
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, like, not Freud, but what's his name? The collective unconscious dude.
Jung.
Yeah, Jung.
Yeah.
It seemed like it should be a Jungian thing, and it's a action figure.
Yeah,
that's the problem with the whole thing.
It is. Yeah, it's the design of the character, and it's the backstory has set up something way cooler. And when the reveal hits with Fire Eyes, you're like, oh, sad trumpet.
Yeah, his name should be Fire Island.
Yeah. So okay, Glitter Knight breaks Jericho's hold and drops him. But Jericho, I like this. He kind of turns around and saves himself by grabbing a hold of Glitter Knight's robes. And Glitter Knight's like, let go of me, fool. What the?
I love that, just that panel before that where Brother Voodoo's just like on his back still, just riding him like a kite or something like that. Like a giant kite. Where he's just soaring around angrily, like buzzing like a bee. Yeah, this page is pretty cool until Fire Eyes comes in.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I was just kind of previewing before we read this for this week, just like looking at the cover. I'm like, did I miss an issue? Like where we resolve the Devil's Grotto story or?
Exactly.
Nope, this is the ending. Okay.
Yeah. When I was just looking at covers, that's why I was just like, oh, this must just be a 3-part story. And then this Fire Eyes thing must be part of that lame last arc, but nope. It's the culmination of this really cool arc. Just,
yeah. So Brother Voodoo punches Glitter Knight in the face, but, Glitter Knight has this tendril of power going to Fire Eyes, which controls him. And so he makes Fire Eyes shoot fire out of his eyes and start burning the beast's fur, which must reek. And the Fire Eyes says, forgive me. And like Jack's like, oh, so he could talk too. But I wasn't in much of a mood to listen. So he just dives, tackles at him, and Fire Eyes is saying, I sense that you are good, and I have no desire to harm you, but I cannot control myself. I must strike at you. And so they're fighting. And Jack says one of his, classic lines, only if you get the chance, Buster. Buster's like, he should get a tattoo that says Buster on his forearm.
He should.
He says, and I wasn't about to hand it to him. And he's like, no, listen to me. I sense that you are good, and it is my own wish to act for good, to rejoin the 3. But as long as the 5th controls me, I must destroy you. And they're just trading blows at this point. I have no choice. I must. And he shoots fire at the beast's neck, and he's burning his neck. And then we cut back to Jericho and Glitter Knight. It says, but Jericho, bless him, was still battling like a trooper. And Glitter Knight screaming, no. And again, Jericho grabs the tendril of light and tears it in half, ripping it and setting Fire Eyes free. And he yells out, free! At last I am free, after countless eternities of imprisonment and torment, free to destroy the evil which has so long contained and corrupted me. And the beast is just watching him going, what the? Fire Eyes turns his eyes towards Glitter Knight, and his eyes are burning with flame and the promise of hell to pay. So kind of a quick turnabout there as far as like reversal of fortunes, but
yeah, it's really quick.
Yeah.
But we're getting to the end of the issue, so
we are.
Shit's got to be resolved. This 4-part epic has to be resolved. So on the next page, Brother Voodoo falls to the ground, landing on his neck for like the 3rd time this issue. He falls like 100 feet directly onto his neck, Even though I like how even the narration says, still, as much as I winced at Brother Voodoo's fall, at least it got him out of the way, allowing Fire Eyes to strike with twin blasts of hell flames. So Fire Eyes directs his heat vision to Glitter Knight, whose robes
you can't use that term. Sorry, that's copyrighted. Heat vision is not okay.
Yes, that's right. That's right. His Fire Eye vision.
Thank you.
His robes burst into flames and he's like, no, stop it. I won't let you do it. And he counters that attack in a way I did not expect.
Yeah.
So Glitter Knight, as he's basically being burned to death, a glowing green buzzsaw blade of light emerges from his chest and like cuts Fire Eyes in half, who then explodes.
Very Simpsons.
Very, yeah.
The smallest thing just makes something explode.
And it reads, he died, never screaming.
That panel of Kaboom
is really awesome.
Should be like, that's a Liechtenstein thing.
It is a Liechtenstein thing. Yeah, it's totally, some jackass art, buyer would steal that and sell it for like $500,000.
Who did he, was that Heath? Who did he?
Yeah, Heath for the most part. Yeah.
And didn't Heath say like, he sent me a bottle of wine like 30 years later? Like he based his entire career and his fortune on my work, and then he sent me a bottle of wine that said like, thanks.
I don't even know if he did that. I thought that he did. Did he? Okay. Because I know that Heath did really like wine, and he wrote this, he had this little thing, like he wrote a little 8-panel comic or something about himself and later in life and how, Liechtenstein had made untold riches, basically just blowing up pictures of fucking Russ Heath's art. It's just disgusting.
Maybe he didn't. Maybe he was just, maybe I'm thinking of the same thing you're talking about. Maybe he was just saying, does he just say, at least he could have sent me a wine? I thought he did say that
maybe he did. Yeah, I got to go back and read that because I love it. I'm a huge Russ Heath fan.
Me too.
And so after the Kaboom, the prophecy has been fulfilled. So this is the death that needed to happen to defeat Glitter Knight.
Yeah, why?
I
guess the question is, why does this have anything to do with Jack and his change?
Exactly.
So we know that the ability to change exists in this egg in Glitter Knight's reality that he's created. Somehow destroying him blends our realities, so Jack can take that out with him and back into the regular world and keep those abilities. I don't know. But anyway, Glitter Knight's dead, so I'm drinking.
Drink to Glitter Knight.
Do we know? Have you ever done any looking around to see if he ever popped up again?
Glitter Knight does not come back.
Really?
No.
How could you set up this pantheon of elder gods and walk away from it? Like, you know what I mean? It's like Alan Moore and like Jeff Johns, where Alan Moore's just like, I just would throw out ideas in Green Lantern 80s comics, and Jeff Johns based his career on taking those and writing entire epics off of them. Like he's like digging. I think he said Jeff Johns is probably digging through my garbage for ideas.
Yeah,
was the way he said it.
Totally.
But how can someone, a capable young writer in the 21st century, not just go, holy shit, there's a bunch of like stuff here and these are already created and I just got to take it and run with it and just it's very fertile.
You know who needs to do this? Someone needs to do this with enough of a sense of humor. Chip Zdarsky needs to fucking bring back Dr. Glitter Knight as a Daredevil villain.
Yeah,
I've said it first.
I thought you were going to say Fred Van Lente, but I like the Chip Zdarsky thing.
Oh no, Chip has the mind to really utilize the Three-Who-Are-All and Glitter Knight.
Yeah. I was just thinking of like, did you ever read MODOK's 11?
No.
Fred Van Lente. It's pretty funny. I'm not normally a guy for crossing streams like humor with existing characters, but it's actually pretty fun.
Oh, that's cool.
Big heist book with villains. So yeah, Glitter Knight's dead. I'm letting that sink in a little bit.
Yeah, it feels good.
I read this issue really twice today, and I was hoping that his pain would last more. I don't know. I mean, Prometheus is tied to a rock, having his innards picked out by birds, eagles every day, over and over again. He heals at night. I just feel like Glitter Knight needs something come up and see.
Oh, he deserves it.
Okay. I'm not like a super small man. Actually, we established at the beginning of this episode I'm very small, didn't we?
Yeah.
Glitter Knight died, never screaming. And then we just cut to the next page and it says, chaos! Pieces of shattered... This is actually gross here, by the way. Pieces of shattered fire eyes rained down on me. So the beast is just like sprawling out, like flying through the air, like free falling, with raining down chunks of flaming fire eyes. He says it soaked into me, permeated my soul. And as the roof came down in hissing, greasy smoke, I bet Glitter Knight was greasy.
Of course he was.
Yeah. I felt fire in my veins, but it was a good feeling. I knew that Fire Eyes had found a new home, which was neither prison nor hell. And that panel was just a strange green cave floor with pink smoke rising up and fuchsia fire eyes chunks falling down. Such a weird ending to the story.
It's a weird panel too, and it's a very weird ending.
Yeah, it's so goddamn weird. So it says the smoke cleared finally and revealed that we get this long horizontal panel, and we see that Devil's Grotto is just back. The werewolf is crouching down. Everyone's on the ground, just kind of regaining consciousness and awareness, and saying, Jack says, the black egg, it's gone. Brother Voodoo says, yes, and Glitter Knight as well. Devil's Grotto is once again as it was. And sure enough, it's just a grotto. It's just there's cliff walls, there's tropical trees on the top, and there's just a dirt floor. And it says, except for the Zuvembi bodies toward which Coker slowly staggered. So while they're collecting themselves, Coker has gotten up and started to walk towards the now re-dead Zuvembis. And this made me feel kind of, I kind of felt something, you know, I don't know if I love the Black Egg adventure part of this so much, but it felt like when the carnival leaves town and like the Safeway parking lot, which was so magical for 2 nights, just becomes a Safeway parking lot again.
Yeah, the tents came down.
Moved on.
Yep.
There's just some cotton candy smeared in the ground with some cigarette butts in the parking lot. That's all it is. And there's a neat little moment here where Jack is reminiscing and looking at just kind of, this is all sinking in. He says, I suddenly felt very solemn, very somber. I'd just seen a noble sacrifice, something so moving and human in nature that I no longer felt like being the werewolf. And in that panel, Northrop is behind Jack, kind of looking on, and Jack looks like he's furiously masturbating or like having a fit of some sort. He's kind of vibrating and just going, eh. But we find out that he's actually willing to change. So sure enough, as prophesied, he can now change at will outside of the egg, outside of that reality. She says, I felt like being human myself, wanted and needed to be human. So I changed of my own free will. And there's a middle panel where Northrop is horrified, just shocked, like, what?
His eyes.
Jack's in mid-transformation. And then finally it says, not caring who saw the change. And he's fully Jack again, sweating. And Northrop's just like, you? Russell? But I thought Coker was the werewolf. He says, well, now you know better, Northrop. What are you going to do about it? Arrest me? And I don't know. It's like, is that affluenza? Is just like rich kid? Like, what are you going to do, copper? Or is he just like, come on, dude, we've been through the shit.
I'd like to think it's a mixture of both. And I really like how Jack's face is drawn in that last panel too.
So do I. I love it.
It actually seems like he's matured. Like this whole experience has made him just like, all right, yeah, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Arrest me?
Yeah.
Where he's suddenly very self-assured and
he had his werewolf bar mitzvah.
He did. Spooky, scary. Yeah. So our final page, after Jack is just like, yeah, what are you going to do? Arrest me? Northrop then says, he's like, arrest you? No, son, I ain't going to arrest you. I've just seen a lot of things which should stop me from ever arresting you. For instance, I've just seen you save my life and Coker's life. I've seen you act selflessly like a hero, and more of a hero than I've ever been. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep my big fat trap shut, and I'm going to pretend that werewolves are nothing but a load of half-baked superstition. And the final narration is like, amen, brother, amen. And then
before you
there,
move on to the epilogue, sorry,
okay.
That 3 panels there is, again, Perlin just kind of like overextending what he doesn't need to, but it's nice. Like, the first one's a very typical close-up of Northrop's face. And then there's this weird middle panel where it's like the bottom half of his face is cut off entirely. And you see Jack's face in the background. Like, what is that?
It's weird. And
unusual composition.
It's unusual, and it's weird because the way that the gutters go, it cuts half of Northrop's very like detailed giant ear off. Like it's weird looking.
Yeah, and I don't know if comics have the same 180 rule that film does, but then Perlin flips the other side of Northrop's face, so he's spun the camera around. It's striking. Like it's just everything he's doing is like, you didn't have to do that.
No,
like, it's cool. He's not flexing. He's stretching all the time.
Yeah, well, he does that constantly. And yeah, you're right. Any type of lesser artist wouldn't throw these weird angles and this weird shit into it like the final page. But
yeah,
Perlin does. And then we have an epilogue. So
the band photo?
Yeah. Yeah, so it is great. It's like this panel that's right under the epilogue. The illustration of the gang is Brother Voodoo, Northrop, Jack, and Topaz. And yeah, it's like there's a wind machine like blowing their hair, and they look all badass. Yeah, what record cover is this? What band are they?
I have no idea.
The narration says, the breeze was cool, stirring our hair and raising goose flesh on the backs of our necks. Or maybe it wasn't the breeze. Maybe it was Coker. And we see that Coker is just kind of, kneeled down and is holding one of the bodies. The narration reads, he'd singled out one body from many, all lifeless and pathetic. And he was weeping openly, nakedly. And he's saying, Geranda, Papa Geranda, why? And said Coker would have to bury his great-grandfather again. But at least Geranda was now at final peace, and so too, I suspect, was one other. We all began to weep. The tears came easily and did not stop for a long time. At that final panel, we see Coker with his great-grandfather, and right above them is now the Four-Who-Are-All, with Fire Eyes on the very right, with them all in their Jedi heaven.
Yeah. Kind of made me think of like that David Cross bit from his HBO special, like in 2000, where he's like saying like, the Jesus thing, that wasn't that big of a deal. I mean, like, so I die and I get to go to heaven and be seated at the right hand of my father and rule over the universe. Fuck it, man. Nail me up.
Yeah.
Well, you've only got 3 nails? Here, I'll cross my feet. If Fire Eyes, it wasn't a big sacrifice if he's going back to be restored to a cosmic god.
No, it was not a big sacrifice. He just had to be split in half by a green buzzsaw made of light. Yeah, big you're deal. Right. No, it was a big deal.
That was a typical Friday night when I was 25.
That's right. So he's with the Three-Who-Are-All. Everything's fine. And then the teaser for next issue says, next issue, the mystery from Buck Cowan's past, and a brand new werewolf able to control his night stalking as he tracks down killers in the company of Iron Man.
Yeah, until you said that last phrase there.
It sounded so great until...
As he tracks down killers, then we're going to Curtis.
Yeah, this is awesome. This is great. And then, and the company of Iron Man.
Yeah, this is where you say we're going to be in an adult magazine published by Marvel. Because the Beast needs to slaughter people that need to die.
Yeah.
This could have been like pre-Dexter, Modern Punisher, whatever, like that would have been fucking amazing.
So badass.
But alas and alack.
Nope, we do not get that.
We have a 2-part Iron Man story.
Can't believe that's how this series ends.
Yeah. So let me read this note from editorial on that note, because they did chime in here at the top of Werewolf by Night. Well, people, the werewolf's big change is over now, as you already know if you've been good readers and finished the story before digging into this letters page. And things ain't, as they say, never going to be the same. For instance, if Northrop will let us borrow his favorite expression, next issue sees the debut of the most bizarre superhero in the annals of comics history. Yep. Now that Jack Russell is in control of his hirsute alter ego, he's going to take a flying fangs and fur lunge at the bad guys for a change. And talk about striking fear into the hearts of evildoers. Not only that, but he's also going to inspire a little fear in a certain Tony Stark's often ailing heart when the werewolf clashes with Iron Man. That was all caps. But enough about the future. Let's see what you've had to say about our past efforts.
Oh, all right. So, it seems like they're trying to do a best of both worlds thing to where it's like, okay, Jack has control over his transformations now. He has control over the werewolf. He's not just a grenade that needs to be thrown into a room. He has sentience in his werewolf form.
Yeah.
He's going to be hanging out with superheroes. He's going to be going after bad guys on purpose, not just weirdly running into them and having to,
accidentally.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is, I don't know. I know you and I have talked about how the last two issues, the weird little Iron Man arc, was kind of like almost like a Hail Mary type of situation to just be like, oh, we got to save the book. But I actually think it might have been more like, no, this is the direction the book is taking, and that sales had just tanked over the post Marcosa House to where they got the sales figures in and they're like, okay, guys, you tried, but that's it.
You're probably right. When you frame it that way, it makes sense. I guess like the whole thing was a Hail Mary, right? I mean, like the direction change was a Hail Mary. Yeah.
But like we've talked about on previous episodes, as far as Marvel is concerned, horror is on its way out.
Yeah.
Like
that's why he's transitioning into, a heroic role, even if he's a anti-hero.
Yeah, but just like you just read in the editorial note, like he's going to be a superhero now from here on out. Like, so I don't know. It's just disappointing. It's disappointing the sales didn't bump up enough to have this go on at least as long as fucking Tomb of Dracula did. It should have at least run that long.
Yeah. With a format change like this, I think this should have added, again, we've said it in the last couple episodes, it should have added a year or two to this publishing schedule, in my opinion.
It's too bad. So,
pretty disappointing. I will read a quick letter from about issue 38, because I feel like that was one of the last great ones that we read. So that was the one that was set in the cabin in the snow, the first part of this four issue arc. So let's do a quick letter. Dear Doug and Dawn, in 1967, I opened my first Marvel comic book, and my life hasn't been the same since. In the past 8 or 9 years, I've read a lot of truly great comics, some good in art, some good in story, and others a combination of both. But just now, I've read the greatest piece of comic book literature to hit the stands since Silver Surfer. It had all the elements of a classic, a spellbinding script, captivating and truly interesting artwork, a perfect mesh of the two, and, because of these qualities, a story which was totally interesting and absorbing from word one to the final panel. The comic I just read was Werewolf by Night, number 38. Doug, with this issue, you've demonstrated that you are the best writer to hit Marvel since Stan Lee. I was skeptical of your work at first, but now I'm a believer. I buy any comic which has your name gracing the credits. And Dawn, your artwork is the pure essence of storytelling. Each panel adds to the next in a completely engrossing process of story told in pictures, and each comic illustrated by you is an artistic adventure into the realms of mysticism and horror. I truly love your work, and I believe you're an admirable example for all young artists who wish to enter the field of comic art. WBN 38 was a masterful job. Deborah James, the letter from your sisters was great, and intrigued me so much that I went back through the entire issue just to examine your lettering. Very descriptive. From the fracks right down to the rars. I'll be watching for your name in future credits. In closing, I hope WBN will be around for a good long while, monthly or bi-monthly. It'll always be my favorite as long as you've got this team of talented people working on the stories. J. Doug Dennis, Davisburg, Michigan. Just like a good kind of, what we're just talking about. I don't know, this guy's agreeing with us that they're hitting the stride right here. And this direction is really working.
Yeah, a lot of the things said in that letter are things that we have almost said verbatim on this podcast. So that guy gets it.
Yep. J. Doug Dennis gets it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so while we're in a letters mood, we got a really nice email from Tom Figuera, who has been a fan of the show for a long time. He was one of the first people that left a review for us on Apple Podcasts, got some killer buttons, and sent us a really nice letter. I'm going to read it. He says, "Hello, Jacob and Matt. As the issues are about to run out, I just wanted to say thank you for creating this podcast. I got into the character with issues 11 and 12, but after 16, Hunchback, and 18, Coker Fight, which came out when I was about 10, I was hooked. I got a subscription, thanks Mom, and eventually found the older issues, which was a lot harder back then. As the kid who wanted monster comics over superheroes, liked Frankenstein and Dracula to a lesser extent, or collected wacky packs over baseball cards, I never knew anyone into Werewolf by Night. As the cliche goes, part of the fun of the internet is when the world is online, you can find enough people who are into more obscure things. I would never have expected there would be a podcast about Werewolf by Night. It has been a lot of fun rereading these and listening. And who knows, between Moon Knight and the other Disney Plus rumors, maybe Werewolf by Night will have a comeback of sorts. Thanks so much.
Lovely.
Yeah, that was really awesome. Thank you,
Thanks,
Tom.
Tom. Jinx, you owe me some demon juice.
Okay, demon juice indeed.
Yeah, Tom, I appreciate that a lot. That was a super nice letter to get. And we responded to him offline. But yeah, it was nice. He was, like you said, I forgot that he was one of the first reviewers after Brad Elmore.
Yep, Brad Elmore was our first. And I think, Tom was maybe second or third.
Yep.
But and I always consider it a real high compliment of someone that came on really early in our run and has stuck through with the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because like I have my favorite podcasts, and even podcasts that I really liked, like I eventually fall off, but so I consider it a high compliment that someone still tunes in every week to hear our malarkey.
I do. Yeah.
I do too.
I think if we were married, we probably would have divorced. Actually, it probably would have ended in a real life like murder mystery, I think.
Oh, that's way better than divorce.
Narrated by Keith Morrison.
Yeah. One can dream.
Yeah. So thanks, Tom. And your support has been much appreciated throughout the whole run of the show. You're one of the good ones.
Damn right.
Damn right. But it's not too late, by the way, to show us support. You can send us an email at werewolfbynightpodcast@gmail.com, and we can share that. As mentioned at the beginning of the show, you can also chime in with your votes for favorites of all that stuff that we talked about. And you can still do a 5-star review and get a pack of buttons from Jacob. I just got some sweet ones from you.
I know. I made you some special ones.
Yeah. That's not for your average schmo.
No.
There's a topaz in there.
There's a topaz. There's a coker in there. There's a really good coker in there.
Yeah. I don't want to tip my hand for the end of the final episode, but yeah.
Yeah.
Some characters I might like a lot.
Yeah.
We're doing the end of the Naschy run, the Werewolf Multimedia.
That's right.
Werewolf Multimedia.
I don't want to spoil anything, so why don't you go?
All right, so we watched The Beast and the Magic Sword. It was released in 1983. It's the first in the series to be written and directed by Paul Naschy.
I don't believe that for a fucking second.
I don't believe that for a second either. What the fuck was that? There's no way that's true.
No way. No fucking way.
I'm so glad you agree with me on that. So it's though it was a Spanish and Japanese co-production, it was never shown outside of Spain. It's never been dubbed.
Nope.
And so it begins in the year 938.
Can we just do reactions first?
Let's do reactions.
This is one of the best movies I've seen in years.
Seriously, one of the best.
I fucking loved it.
I actually really loved it too. I don't know if I would say one of the best.
One of the best psychotronic movies I've seen in recent memory.
It was awesome.
It had everything.
It really had everything.
Resume what you were just saying. I can't wait to talk about this. I felt like a little kid watching this.
Yeah, I did too, because it just kept ratcheting up with just like more and more cool shit. So it starts in the year 938 in the castle of Emperor Aton the Great. There's this bishop that's telling the emperor of his travels, and he's meeting a Irenaeus Daninsky, who agrees to duel with this Magyar leader named Bulcho, and he's gonna defeat this evil guy in exchange for the emperor's youngest daughter. And so Daninsky beheads the villain, takes his very young bride, and then this villain Bulcho's supernatural followers summon the devil to curse the Daninsky line. And there's a sorceress that does this whole thing with the wolf skull.
I love that came back, by the way.
That was awesome. I know. I loved it that they brought back some pretty cool, or at least they kept some cool things. But yeah, this is again a complete retelling of the origin of Waldemar Daninsky every single time. And
this should be the one, in my opinion.
Yeah, this should be the one. I love that how many of these have we watched? 9?
I was going to say 6 or 7. But I don't know.
We've watched a lot. different origin every time.
Yes.
The ending, exactly the same every single movie.
True.
Which I did love.
It makes the ride more enjoyable, though.
It does, for some weird reason. I'm so glad we're ending on this movie too. That we're going to end on a total high point. So you've never seen this before?
No, I'd wanted to see this for years, but I kept waiting to see a dubbed version. And then when I finally started researching it, I was like, oh, there is no dub.
No, there is no dub.
I mean, I don't think it was even shown in Japan.
No, it was never. That's the crazy thing, is that it was a co-Japanese production, never shown in Japan.
So my theory, before I jump back in, is that the location stuff that was filmed in Japan, which is the majority of it, was filmed by a ghost director that was Japanese. And that Jacinta Molina, who is Paul Naschy, took credit for all that. That's what I believe. I
totally believe that. So the studio, a lot of the stuff that was filmed in the studio in Japan is Toshiro Mifune's studio.
Oh, well, fucking A.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, okay. Like, this is the real deal.
I was watching a Criterion samurai film for a lot of sequences in it.
Yeah, at least like a third of the movie felt like that, for sure. So after this new origin, we skip forward in time to Toledo in the second half of the 16th century. And we meet Waldemar Daninsky, who's kind of searching the world for a cure to his affliction. He meets this really cool holy man who may be able to cure him, but the superstitious villagers have other plans, like they always do.
And anti-Semitic, too.
Yeah, I know. I
loved all the cultural stuff in this.
He was kind of cool, too. Like the guy, but I loved this. That guy was one of my favorite characters. He was like a Jewish holy man, like this mystic, scholar. But also scholar, like really, really cool, very kind, and just really awesome character, who's just totally murdered by these anti-Semitic, like Spanish Inquisition, because there's an inquisitor that's on his way there.
Yeah, the Grand Inquisitor.
Yeah, the Grand fucking Inquisitor is there to take care of this guy, but the villagers don't want to wait. They just go and kill the guy. And so, Daninsky and his bride go to Japan, because this holy man's like, okay, there's this one guy that's going to help you. His name's Kian. He's going to cure you. Just go to Japan and find him. And so we switch to Japan, where
they pick up a character. That Jewish scholar, mystic, whatever you want to call him, rabbi, I don't know what he was. Yeah. He had a niece who was blind, who was named Esther. Mm-hmm. And since her uncle has been murdered, who was her protector, she goes with Waldemar and Kinga, who is his spouse, right?
Yes. Yeah, so they travel to Japan. And it kind of jumps forward a little because at first you don't know that he's there, but you realize it because there's a werewolf that's terrorizing the countryside and killing people. I think the first time we see it is that he just goes and just lays waste to this brothel.
Yes. Oh my God. That's when I knew this. I mean, I was already enjoying it, but when he goes into a brothel and just murders Johns and topless sex workers, I was like, this is fucking amazing. My only issue with his werewolf form in this one was that he had ears up on the top like John Candy and Spaceballs, which I don't think he had yet.
No, it was weird. We should do a side by side.
Yeah, I wasn't a super fan of the ears. But one thing I love about this film, generally speaking, was that they were not stingy with werewolf sequences. No, he turns into the werewolf left, right, and sideways and just slaughters people. There's points where there's just piles of dead bodies.
Yeah, well, I liked it. And someone, I think I read a review online that pointed this difference out, is that a lot of times in the previous movies, it'd be the werewolf versus like one guy. But in this movie, it's like the werewolf versus like a dozen samurai.
Werewolf versus Japan.
Werewolf versus literal Japan. It just goes through and just slaughters everybody. So so it's funny. The guy that he's going to look for, Kian, is charged with tracking the werewolf down. And so he actually finds Daninsky and, goes through this like dark night of the soul, trying to figure out if he's going to turn him in or help him. And he ends up deciding to help him. And I like that the first thing they try is this potion that's made from a Tibetan flower, which is exactly like 1935, The Werewolf of London.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, that's fucking
nice
awesome.
Reference.
Yeah, I was like, totally what a cool, it's the exact same flower.
Did that come up in the Werewolf versus the Yeti at all? If not, why not?
Yeah, if not, why not? Yeah, but it's funny. I don't remember as much about that one because I did not like it as much as this one.
That one was a drag.
Yeah, it really was. And then, my God, it just goes on. I mean, there's ninja fights, there's assassins.
It keeps getting better.
It keeps getting better. And then, I think the movie's long.
It is. It's an hour and 47 minutes.
It's by far the longest Naschy werewolf film.
Yeah.
And there was still quite a bit left when we get a werewolf versus tiger fight. And that was not a guy in a tiger suit. That was a real fucking tiger.
That was a guy. Yeah, that was a guy in a werewolf suit and a tiger fighting each other.
Really fighting. Yeah, I know
that people that have raised tigers from cubs can roughhouse with them. I know that's what that was, but it was still that's impressive, dude.
It was impressive.
Actually throwing each other around a bit and
no, it's scary. Once that I realized, I'm like, oh, that's a fucking tiger.
Yeah. Named Shere Khan.
Named Shere Khan. Oh, fuck me. How awesome is that? Yeah, you're right. This might be the best one.
Yep. It's up there, man. It's tied with, I think, the first one.
Yeah, the first one and the last one. I love that those are going to be the best ones.
Yeah. So, man, I don't even know where to start with this thing. First of all, one thing I loved about it was that I cared about all the characters. I've not cared about, I don't believe Naschy wrote it. I don't believe he directed it. I don't know who wrote this, but I cared about Kinga. I cared about Esther. I cared about, what was the name of the main guy who was the secondary character, but he's essentially the main character of the film.
Keon.
Keon, yeah. I cared about him. I cared about Akane, his sister. I cared about everyone. And when something happened to somebody, I was like, oh no! I was reacting I was by myself, and I was in a theater full of people, in my house.
Yeah, it was just. I mean, I know you and I love Japanese cinema, and this had all the hallmarks of a good Japanese film from that time. That's why I really think to where, like you were saying, it's supposed to be a co-production, a co-Spanish and Japanese production. This had all the hallmarks of a Japanese great film. So I don't think Jacinto Molina had anything to fucking do with the script or directing.
Previously in the series, the more he was involved in it, the worse the film was.
Yeah, absolutely. Every time.
In this one, he showed up with a Chris Christopherson beard. And it was just a very laid back, subdued performance. And the supporting cast around him just shined.
Yeah, they really did.
I loved every character. And whenever something bad would happen to someone, I was just totally just gutted. It was a blast.
I looked, and there is a Blu-ray recently that came out of this.
Oh, I'm getting it.
I know. It'd be so awesome. I guess there's extras and everything. So I was kind of stoked to see that existed.
Yeah, I was super busy today, and I had to cram this in in the afternoon before we recorded. And there was parts where it's okay, this is clearly a wordless sequence. I know I'm going to buy this, so I'm just going to make some notes. I was just I know I'm going to see this several times. Yeah, it was that good.
Yeah, I did not expect it to be that good.
So there, in addition to what we're talking about, so the main plot, we're not going to spoil a bunch of this, but the main plot is they go to Keon for this cure, and Keon is also tasked with catching the werewolf. So the werewolf is terrorizing Japan, the countryside, and they have met up with him for a cure. And Valdemar's wife has somehow, I feel like I missed a scene where she makes contact with this witch, essentially, in this castle for a cure. I don't know if did I miss something where that contact was made? And I just feel she just told him we're going to go meet this woman who's a curer of people, and she has a cure for you.
Yeah, I don't think they went into too much backstory on how that happened. I think that just kind of happened.
It's a cool side story that introduces this ghost castle out of time that they go to for a cure that was all the people were dead 200 years ago. Yeah, it's fucking amazing. So then the main character, Keon, who is the main character of the film.
He really is.
And he fucking rules, by the way. His performance was fucking amazing. I know I've seen him and stuff, but I can't place what it was without looking. But and then he shows up, and then the castle that Valdemar was at days ago as this lavish place is covered in cobwebs and dead bodies, and it's just spooky. And then reanimated samurai fucking corpse. Like the battle. It's so good. There's ninjas in it. Like and there's boobs. There's a spa scene, like in some, mineral spas or whatever, and an assassination scene in there. And it has everything.
I know. I'm shocked in the over 100 episodes of a Psychotronic movie podcast you did that this never came up. I'm really shocked. Well, that this is the first time you've seen this. This seems like something that would be baked into your DNA.
Right. But I had that kind of OCD of like, I have to watch the series in order if I see it.
That's you.
And it wasn't readily available until the internet had torrent sites for Psychotronic films. So I kind of held off. And then, So I have a question for you.
Okay.
I feel like I know, this era of like the period films like this of Japanese cinema, and I know you do as well, like the samurai, the Edo, like kind of stuff. But there's also something going on here when they go to the haunted castle and there's a battle there. Some of the characters reappear with different colored hair. And I was wondering if you know what that means, because I know I've read stuff in manga and anime that when a character's hair are major parts of what their character types are. Mm-hmm. And so when the witch that died 200 years ago appears and fights the hero, she has red hair. I was like, that means something, but I can't remember what it means.
Yeah, it does mean something, but I don't know. Okay. It is a cool cultural signifiers that we don't get.
Okay. So if you are big anime fans or whatever, you know what that means, tell us. We'd appreciate it.
Yeah, but I can't recommend enough. So how can people see this? Okay, so there is a Blu-ray. There's can't really, right? There's a Blu-ray, but aside from that, it's not streaming anywhere. It's not on YouTube.
It's not streaming illegally anywhere that I know. Nowhere I would recommend someone to go.
No,
without 8 digital condoms. I would honestly. I don't do this very often, but I would buy the Blu-ray.
Yeah.
If you've watched any of these Paul Naschy films and you've agreed with me and Jacob about the ones we liked and the ones we didn't like, you can trust us. This one's worth owning.
Yeah, it honestly, absolutely is.
It's going to be the next movie I buy.
So good.
I loved it so much. So one thing that I loved was that, in some of the ones that we weren't super stoked on, the plot was so thin, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like, well, you thin the plot out, but you also want to be cheap about werewolf transformations. And you also so it's just all shoestrings tied together, which made a very unappealing experience. This one felt to me story-wise like if this were a TV show, this would have been a season. This would be season 3 of the Valdemar Daninsky Chronicles.
Yeah.
An entire season. Season 3 was the Japan saga. Like, it was so loaded with stuff that you could unpack and dig into. I don't know. I loved it.
Yeah, I know. It's something I'm definitely going to rewatch a few times because, like you say, it is packed with story and plot and legends and lore and tons of werewolves.
He changes into the werewolf a lot.
Like a lot.
So it's so fun seeing a European werewolf attack a bunch of like samurai guards.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the scene, you just cut to this like pile of dead bodies and torches on the ground, like just piled up like layers of dead samurai. Like, he is super effective in this one.
It was everything. Yeah, everything we've wanted these movies to be is in this movie. The Beast and the Magic Sword.
Yep, werewolf action, good characters, great story, boobs, samurais, ninjas, blood. I can't recommend it enough.
Yeah, totally agree. We'll have to post at least the cover of the Blu-ray or a poster of this film or something, and just really promote the hell out of it because I can't say enough good things about it.
Yeah, well, we're in agreement.
Yep,
as is often the case.
We're always in agreement.
All right, listeners, thank you for joining us this week. Till we meet again beneath the full moon, furry ones. Here's how and at ya.